way of Yah. He is my refuge and my fortress, protects me from the wicked, deadly ordinance. Snakes master psychology, phony people studying fakeology. Yah seed, I'm a God, it's not ego. Psalms 82 verse 6. Even JC know who be me. Lion face crew be deep. Soldiers for Yah, screw these streets in front like the heat goat. That's how I leap, waiting on the master. In the meantime, studying for my masters, building houses, growing college, sharpen my sword, and I'm cutting up scholars, raising my sons, searching for the wife. Yah, I pray he find a virtuous one, stand for justice, relieve the oppressed. Call on Yah, deliver the fatherless, let Israel be blessed.
Keeping my eyes on Yah, I won't let up. I'm strong and bold, I won't give up. When I fall, He came and saved me. The righteous fall, don't let up. Every time we gon' get up. When I call, He came and saved me.
Yo, when the poor oppress the poor, it's like the sweeping rain, leaving no food, just pain. But Yah's name I exclaim, feed my brethren wisdom. Yah willing, He will do the same. Shame and calamity on my family, trapped in captivity. Many years ago, holding the calico, never know how my light glow till I step through them two doors. Left church, cause that was just fool's gold. My eyes the color of onyx. Yah's message came to me as clear as you telephonically alerting me. He opened the scrolls and fed His word to me. Now I must give to those hope lost whose spirit is froze. The knowledge of how they conquer their foes. Enemies be hatred of self. Something dangerous like this crack is wealth. Let's flee Babylon and let Yah be our help.
Keeping my eyes on Yah, I won't let up. I'm strong and bold, I won't give up. When I fall, He came and saved me. The righteous fall, don't let up. Every time we gon' get up. When I call, He came and saved me. Keeping my eyes on Yah, I won't let up. I'm strong and bold, I won't give up. When I fall, He came and saved me. The righteous fall, don't let up. Every time we gon' get up. When I call, He came and saved me. Keeping my eyes on Yah, I won't let up. I'm strong and bold, I won't give up. When I fall, He came and saved me. The righteous fall, don't let up. Every time we gon' get up. I call, He came and saved me. Keeping my eyes on Yah, I won't let up.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise and honor to the Holy One of Israel, to the Creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is, by saying hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous. Yah is holy. And let Yahweh be magnified. Once again, the Creator has blessed us by allowing us to come before you another week, bringing you His great and exalted words, even the words of Yah. For truly Yah is righteous and merciful. For who are we that the Creator has allowed us to take His words, put it in our mouth that we might speak it? My name is Mowreh IshiYAH, YisraEL, of the house of Israel, located right here in Cincinnati, Ohio, 1907 Vine Street, bringing to you nothing but the truth. And yes, it is true. All we're going to do is tell you the truth. For Yah ordained me to tell you the truth, so this is what I'm going to do. And who is this Yah? Yah is the creator of the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that is therein is. Yah is the Elohim of our fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, Yitzhak, and YisraEL, whom you may know as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yah is our king. He's our judge. He's our lawgiver. He's our only Savior, and not just of Israel, but Savior of the world. And again, I praise Yah for allowing us to bring to you his words this day and this night. Over the weekend and starting last week, we began speaking about the 12 tribes of Israel. And why? Because little do people know that this is exactly where their eyes shall be. Their eyes shall be upon Israel. Not the land, but the children of Israel. The world don't even know who the children of Israel is. And then there's many people, many nations that have worked diligently and hard, attempting to make the name of Israel no more. These people control the various media outlets. They control the various outlets that control TV and cinema, news. So whatever propaganda that they want to present, that's what they do. And they have various other people that have confederated with them. Even though a lot of these people look like enemies of one another, they have confederated together with one consent. And that is to make the name of Israel no more. And you must know, and you must come to know, that we are in the last days that the Creator has spoke about in the scriptures. And there will be certain things that the Creator said will happen to us in the last days. And there are certain things he said we should consider in the last days. And he also let us know something that I want to show you that I don't think people take to heart. So let me show you this. And this is where we will start on our series of the 12 tribes of Israel. And the place I want you to go is in the book of Ecclesiastes. And I think we're going to find this in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter. Let me see. Is this the place I want to start? Yes, this is the place I want to start. In the book of Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter, this is what it says, starting at the very first verse. And this is what I want you to consider. It says, a good name is better than precious ointment, and a day of death than the day of one's birth. And why? Why is a good name better than precious ointment? And why is the day of death better than the day of one's birth? That don't even seem to make sense. But to the average person, it don't make sense. But for those who have wisdom, they understand exactly what this is saying. And it's going to try to explain it. It will explain it. In the second verse, watch what it says. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. In other words, oftentimes when things come to an end, you ever watch a good movie you didn't want it to end? Ever been in a good relationship you didn't want it to end? You've been on a good vacation you didn't want it to end? You ever did anything that's good and you didn't want it to end? Well, when that good thing come to an end, the scriptures are saying it is better. The end is better than the beginning. Because at the end, you'll lay it to heart. And this is what the Most High wants. He wants you to lay things to heart. And he knows certain things have to be seen. Certain things have to be done for you to lay it to heart. So when something dies, it's more likely you will lay that to heart than when something is born. Watch what it says. Third verse. Sorrow is better than laughter. In other words, when somebody laughing, oftentimes they ain't even thinking about nothing. They just laughing, having a good old time. But let a man be sorrow and see how much he think. See how quiet he is. Man in sorrow, he just sit there and just be real quiet. Because and the first thing people ask a quiet person, what's wrong? Something must be wrong. Because you're not talking, you're not laughing. You're not in tune. What's going on? What's happening? And that's why sorrow is better than laughter, because now you're thinking, you're considering something on the mind. And that's where the Creator wants you. He wants you to consider certain things. For by the sadness of the countenance of the heart is made better, because now you're considering things. You're thinking about things. The heart of the wise. Watch what this says now. Because all these things are saying the same thing. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning. You get that? In other words, a wise man's heart is in the house of the mourning. But watch what it says. But the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. They just want to drink and be happy. But the wise, they're in the house of mourning because they always considering, they always thinking, they always meditating, considering. Watch the 5th verse. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. And how many songs we listen to every day that is just outright foolish? But how many hear the rebuke of the wise and get better? Oftentimes, people don't even want to hear no rebuke at all. And it's better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the songs that he listened to every day. And these songs be outright landish foolish. And you know they foolish songs. And you listen to them every day. But then let a wise man come and rebuke you on something, you don't want to hear that. And that's better than a song. For as the crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of the fool. This also is vanity. In other words, all it does is irritate you and get on your nerves when you hear that crackling. And this brings us to the 8th verse. Because the 8th verse is going to give you the bottom line of everything we just read. And this is the bottom line. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. And the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. And a lot of times we don't want to wait to the end. We don't want to wait patiently until the time that brings about the season that we've been laboring for. What woman want to labor and have her baby in 5 months when it's supposed to go to 9? That's not nothing good. That's called premature. And who want a premature baby? Nobody want a premature baby. You want the baby to be whole and full until it's term, until it's time. And there's some things ending that the Creator said He's going to bring to an end that should be at the forefront of our mind. Because better is the end of a thing than the beginning. And what should be at the forefront of our mind? And let me show you this. And let me show you what this have to do with the 12 tribes of Israel. And watch what it says in the book of Jeremiah. Let us turn there. Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter. Let's read that first. In the book of Jeremiah 23. This is what it says. In the book of Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter. And we're going to start at the 16th verse. This is what it says. First of all, just to put this in perspective, I just want you to see what this chapter is speaking on. And we're going to start reading at the very first verse. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, says Yah. Therefore, thus says Yah, Elohim of YisraEL, against the pastors that feed my people. So you know what this is talking about. This is talking about the various leaders that feed the people of the Most High. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, says Yah. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all the countries, whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. And I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed. Neither shall they be lacking, says Yah. And watch what's going to happen after he do this. Behold, the days come, says Yah, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. And this is the key part that I want you to see. In his days, Yehudah shall be saved. In other words, in the days of what? This king. In the days of who? This branch. This righteous branch. That's in his days. In his days, Yehudah shall be saved. In Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name, whereby shall he be called. Yah our righteousness. Some people pronounce that Siddiq Yanu or Siddiq Yah. Yah righteousness. Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yah, that they shall no more say, Yah liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yah liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all the countries whither I have driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. So this is putting this chapter in perspective. When we read this, now let's see what this says at the 16th verse. Thus says Yah of hosts, hearken not unto the words of the prophets that prophesy unto you. They make you vain. They speak a vision of their own heart, and not out of the mouth of Yah. That's why when we went over dreams and visions, I have a dream. Every dream that you want to pay close attention to are the dreams and the visions of the true prophets of the Most High. And how do you know their dreams and visions? Because their dreams and visions is written in the book of Yah. So if you want to know whether a vision or a dream actually exists and whether it's true, all you got to do is look in the book, and that would tell you. And if it's a vision or a dream that's not in this book, then you know the prophet that teacheth it is false. Watch what it says. They say, still unto them that despise me, Yah have said, ye shall have peace. And this is what's going on now, depending on what camp, what congregation, what synagogue, what temple, what shrine. The people who giving the most money, they got the best positions in the class, in the congregations, in the synagogues, and they get all the accolades because they giving all the money. They got the best seats. They got the most authority. And what happens? the preachers and the teachers and the leaders are telling them they're going to have peace. And they say unto everyone that walketh out of the imagination of his own heart, no evil shall come upon you. And there's people that sit right in front of the various leaders and the leaders themselves that stand in front of people. They will have you to believe that this is not talking about them at all, when actually it is. And this is how you know. It says, for who have stood in the counsel of Yah, and have perceived and heard his word, who have marked his word and heard it. Who've done these things? And this is why. And this is the verse that we attempting to bring to you at this moment, at this time. And you're going to see why. Behold, a whirlwind of Yah is gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. And what is this whirlwind? How do it look? Where would it come from? Will there be a warning? Well, you're already being warned right now. And watch what it says. The anger of Yah shall not return. In other words, when you see that whirlwind, his anger, that's his anger. That's his anger. And watch what it says. The anger of Yah shall not return until he have executed, until he have performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days, he shall consider it perfectly. And what is the latter days? The latter days are the last days. Did not we just read? Better is the end of a thing than the beginning. Did not, and why? Because the living will lay it to heart. Did not the scripture say the wise, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning? In other words, when you're in the house of mourning, that's the time to be humble. That's the time to be low. That's the time to be quiet. That's the time to consider and think about your actions and what's coming out of your mouth. And it says, in the last days, in the latter days, you shall consider it perfectly. And why? Because you're going to be seeing things that you only heard. And many things you ain't never heard. And definitely things you ain't never seen. And what do you think the whirlwind going to bring? Do you think it's going to bring life? Or do you think it's going to do what you know whirlwinds do? Bring destruction and death. Have you considered that? And if you consider that, then where do your heart lie? See, everybody can't know this, but the 12 tribes of Israel must know it, because he gave these words to us. And watch what it says. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. And we can tell real clearly Because whatever they saying, whatever they teaching, whatever they prophesying, we can verify to see whether it's true or not. This is our verification. But if they had stood in my counsel and caused my people to hear my words, if they did this, and they heard the true words of Yah, then they should have turned them from their evil way and from the evil of their doings. In other words, these people should have stopped being wicked, stopped doing evil. Am I Elohim at hand, says Yah, and not a Elohim afar off? So the Creator clearly is letting us know what's going to happen in the last days. And what is the last days? The end of time. And what should we be looking at in the end of time? Well, let me tell you. Israel. Why you think I started at the first verse of this chapter? Because during the time of trouble, and trouble is coming, trouble is prophesied, trouble is determined. That's the time that Israel will dwell safely, and that is the time that Yehudah shall be saved. But before you can save from what? The trouble that's coming. Dwell safely from what? The trouble that has been prophesied. Watch what it says. Just show you something else on this. In the book of Jeremiah 25. And this is what it says. In the book of Jeremiah 25, and we're going to start at verse 30. Therefore, prophesy thou against them all these words, and say unto them, Yah shall roar from on high, and utter his voice from his holy habitation. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation. He shall give a shout as they that tread the grapes against all the inhabitants of the earth. A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth. For Yah have a controversy with the nations. And this is what I've been telling people for a few years now, that Yah is a controversy. And watch what it says. He will plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, says Yah. Thus says Yah folks. Behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. And the slain of Yah shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. And they shall not be lamented, neither gathered, nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground. And this is what the Creator has determined upon the earth. And when do you think this determination is? Well, once again, the last days. And why? Again, the Almighty wants you to lay things to heart. And He knows you're not going to lay it to heart unless He put your heart in the house of the mourning. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning of the thing. For the living shall lay it to heart. And there's a lot of things the Almighty wants you to lay to heart. And He don't want to do it like this. But He have to, because if He don't do it like this, unfortunately, you're not going to lay it to heart. And every day we're coming before you to let you know that you must lay these things to heart. Watch again what the Creator has to say. But to do all these things, when will all these things happen? This is why this is important to understand the 12 tribes of Israel. Because little do people know, this is when these things will happen. I just want you to see this. Watch this. In the book of Hosea. Just want you to see this. Watch what it says. Hosea the 3rd chapter. And you know these things, or should know these things by heart. But the part that I'm emphasizing is that there are some things that's coming to an end. If not, then this whole book is an outright total fabrication and lie. And I know that it's not. And watch what it says. Hosea the 3rd chapter, the 4th and 5th verse. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king. Again, who is it speaking about? The children of Israel. And without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, without an ephod, and without a cherubim. And afterwards shall the children of Israel return, and see Yah their Elohim, and David their king, and shall fear Yah and His goodness in the latter days. And when is that? When is the latter days? Well, the latter days are the last days. They are the last days. And there's a lot of things that will happen in the last days that bring all these things to an end. Israel will return. Israel has sought the Most High. And Israel today is seeking their king. So there's only one thing left to do, is to bring the trouble that the Creator has prophesied that He said He will do. And then the next thing, that's when He will save. Once again, let me show you when that will be. As we read in the book of Hosea, that's during the time of the children of Israel. when they're abiding without all these things. But then there's going to be a time where they will return. And return where? Unto the Most High. Watch what it says. Still talking about the 12 tribes of Israel. And there's many things we got to know about the 12 tribes of Israel. And we hadn't even scratched the surface yet. But I want you to see certain key things so you can have your eye on the prize. Israel is the prize. The remnant is the prize. Being delivered is the prize. Being saved is the prize. But you got to know that that will only take place at a certain time. That's why the scripture says there's a time and a season for everything. A time to be born and a time to die. And once you understand those dynamics, you'll realize there's a time for everything. And when there's a time to die and something coming to an end, then that can only mean one thing. Something is ending, but something else is beginning. Something is setting, like the sun in the evening time. But make no mistake about it, something must rise, and that's the sun once again. These are the things that we must know. In the book of Isaiah, the first chapter. Let us turn there. Still speaking of the 12 tribes of Israel. Because a lot of things will happen during a certain time in their days. In the book of Isaiah, the first chapter, this is what it says starting in the second verse. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for Yah have spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel do not know. My people do not consider. And this is what the Almighty wants us to do. He wants us to consider. He wants us to know. He wants us to lay things to heart. But as a nation of people, we don't know our owner. We don't know our crib. And we don't know and we don't consider. Our sinful nation of people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken Yah. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backwards. Why should ye be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart faint. From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there's no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and petrifying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Your country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land, strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate as overthrown by strangers. And watch what it says. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in the garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. Except Yah foes have left unto us a very small remnant. We should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. In other words, we would have been totally destroyed and annihilated. But because of the goodness and the mercies of Yah, he left a small remnant. And this, who we descend from. This small remnant. And this small remnant, the strong survived and allowed us even to this day to bring to you the words of Yah. And what is Yah conveying this day? That we are in a time that we must begin to mourn. Even before the trouble come our way. You know it's coming. You know the whirlwind is at the gates. So where is your heart lying? Is it lying still in a house of mirth, feasting? Or is your heart lying in a house of mourning where you have become quiet and humbled? Where is your heart today? And if you had the heart of the wise, you will be in the house of mourning. And what happens in the house of mourning? Everyone is seeking the very thing that the Creator told his people to do and to seek in the last days. And I want you to see this. In the book of Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter. Of course, this is not rocket science at all. I just want you to see this because you are, and I'm speaking to the world, but in particularly the 12 tribes of Israel. Because undoubtedly this message is to you first and foremost. Because there are things that the Creator desire you, out of all the people on the earth, lay to heart. Watch what it says. In the book of Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter. And we're going to start reading at the 25th verse, because this is what happens. When thou shalt beget children, and children's children, and ye have remained long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves, and surely our people did, and make a graven image, or likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of Yah thy Elohim, to provoke him to anger. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish off the land whereunto ye go over Jordan to possess it. Ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. And watch what it says. And Yah shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither Yah lead you. And there ye shall serve deities, idols, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But watch what it says. But if from thence, where? The land of your enemies. Where? All the places where Yah scattered you among the nations, among the heathen, where you will be left few in number, serving things that's made by the hands of man, wood and stone, that don't see, hear, eat, or smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek Yah thy Elohim, thou shalt find him. If thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul, when thou art in tribulation, in other words, when thou art in trouble, and all these things will come upon thee. And what's that? Trouble. Even in the latter days. Here it is again. Because there are certain things that will happen in the last days. If thou turn to Yah thy Elohim, and shall be obedient unto his voice. For Yah thy Elohim is a merciful Elohim. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he swore unto them. So here the Creator is pleading with us, telling us, letting us know what must be done in the last days. And if we have marked his words as he said, perceived them, should not the people be turned from the evil of their doings and their evil way? So what would they be doing? They will be seeking the Most High. They will be seeking humility, meekness, and they will be seeking righteousness. Because this is the time that the Most High want the 12 tribes to consider. Why? Because we are in the time of the end. How much longer do you think Yah will put up with the foolishness? To everything, there's a time. To everything. There's a beginning and there's an end. Time to die. It's time to be born. And so when do you think the end is coming to the wicked, to the nations? A lot of people were shocked when Saddam Hussein met his demise, ruling all those many years. but it came to an end. Shocked when Muammar Gaddafi, when they found Saddam Hussein, he was in a little hole in the ground. This is a man that walked amongst the best palaces in the world. Muammar Gaddafi was found getting beat in an alley. Just smacked around like he was some type of peasant. But he was the ruler of the land. Man that ruled Egypt. Got arrested. Went into a coma. All these people began to come to an end. Now, do you think all the various religions and all the other nations will still hold on their vain power they only think they have? Their power is for a time and a season. It's not forever. Show you this in the book of Deuteronomy 32. And not just their power, our power too. Because we think our power is ourself. We think we control our own destiny, not realizing everything we got and everything we will have and everything we are and everything we will become is because of the Most High. And that's everything. Watch what it says in the book of Deuteronomy 32, starting at the 15th verse. It says, but Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook Elohim, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. They provoked him to jealousy with strange deities. With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to Elohim, to idols whom they knew not, to new deities that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful and hast forgotten Elohim that formed thee. And when Yah saw it, because Yah see everything, he hear everything, Yah know everything, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. Watch what it says. I will see what their end shall be. And that's what I'm trying to get people to see, the reality of the fact that this thing is coming to an end. For they are a very fourth generation, children in whom is no faith. Because we don't really believe that Yah going to bring this to an end. We don't believe that. Why do you think we vote? Why do you think more people will vote in the next election more than they've ever voted? Watch what You're going to see record numbers. Because they don't think this is coming to an end at all. And they're going to be on record demonstrating their love for this great Babylon, for this great whore, and this great nation of crimes. They will be a part of them, accessory to the crime. And watch what it says. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not Elohim. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. For a fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn into the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundation of the mountains. I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spend my arrows upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger, and devoured with burning heat, and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with poison of serpents of the dust. Sword without, terror within, shall destroy both young man and virgin, the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. And watch what it says. I said I will scatter them into corners. I will make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. And nobody remember us and our former greatness. They don't even talk about our former greatness. As a matter of fact, they go have people attempting to prove that everything that we're saying is a lie. Not religious people, but because the religious people, they know we're telling y'all the truth. But they had these people called scientists and geologists and people called philanthropists and historians. These are the people that go to try to say everything that we're saying is not the truth. Were it not that I fear the wrath of the enemy, lest their adversaries should behave themselves strangely, unless they say, our hand is high and Yah have not done all this. In other words, that's what I'm telling people. They looking at the wrong people. They think actually the people, our enemies, have done these things, but no. What has happened to us is by the hand of the Most High, not by their hands at all. Watch what it says. For they are a nation void of counsel, neither is there any understanding in them. Oh, that they were wise. Here we go again. That they understood this. And what is it that Yah want us to understand? That they will consider their latter end. Oh, this is to consider our last days, the latter end. And here it is, we in the latter end. Here it is, we in the last days. And it don't look like the people of Israel is considering anything. Did not the scriptures say better is the end of a thing? Did not the scripture say it's better to go in the house of mourning than the house of mirth? Did not the scripture say better is sorrow rather than laughter? See how we've been taught wrong? See how we've been tricked and bamboozled? See how Yah thoughts are not our thoughts and his ways are not our ways? The very thing that make you happy should make you sad. And the very thing that make you sad should make you consider. And this is what we don't want to do. How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight? How is that possible? Well, except their rock has sold them and Yah has shut them up. And who is our rock? Yah. For their rock is not as our rock. Even our enemies themselves being judged. In other words, our enemies know their rock is not our rock. They know their rock don't eat or don't see, don't hear, don't eat, nor smell. They know that. For their vine is the vine of Sodom, and of the fields of Gomorrah. In other words, what is the vine of Sodom? What is the field of Gomorrah? You got to read what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. Destruction. Death. That's what came to them. So, what is the vine of Sodom? That's the vine of death. What is the fields of Gomorrah? That's the field of destruction. Their grapes are grapes of gall. Their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the poison of dragons and the cruel venom of asps. Who want to eat that? Who want to drink that? Is not this laid up in store with me and sealed up among my treasures? Yes, it is. In other words, pull it right out so you can see for yourself. To me belongeth vengeance and recompense. In other words, you're mad at the wrong thing. You're mad at the wrong people. Your energy is placed in the wrong place. Look into the mirror and then look at yourself and seek humility and seek Yah, because it lies with you. For the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon them make haste. In other words, the haste is today. The haste is now. This is the time of the end. For Yah shall judge his people and repent himself for his servants, when he seeth that their power is gone, and there is none shut up or left. In other words, as I told you before, they think they have all the power, but they have no power at all. In other words, everything that's happening and everything that will happen and everything that has happened, this is by the hand of Yah. Ain't nothing happening and Yah ain't in control of. Yah is in control of everything. He knows everything. He hears everything. He sees everything. And this all about time. A time and a season. And when he see that the power's gone and there's none shut up or left. In other words, what do that mean? In other words, when our people come to their knees, and they will, and there's none shut up and left. In other words, their money can't help them. Their political alliances can't help them. Their briberies cannot help them. The tricks of the trades cannot help them. The Constitution of America will not help them. Their civil rights won't help them. Their voting definitely is not going to help them. The marching and the protesting that they learned, the peaceful protesting that they learned from Gandhi, that's not going to help them. And he passed it down to Martin Luther King. That's not going to help them. When everything, there's none shut up. Watch what will happen. And he shall say, where are their idols, their rock, in whom they trusted? Where is it now? Where's your helper now? Where's your Savior now? The one that you've been going in every Sunday and every other day, and you didn't know Yah was listening. You didn't know he saw you. Where is your help now? Which did eat the fat of their sacrifices and drink the wine of their drink offerings. Let them rise up and help you and be your protection. And I'm trying to appeal to the wise-hearted now, those who are in the house of the mourning now, to those that know that the end is better, is the end of a thing than the beginning of a thing. I'm appealing to you now to seek humility and to seek Yah and to seek righteousness. What other thing can you do? Watch what it says. See now that I am he, and there is no Elohim with me. Watch what it says. I kill and I make alive. Why? Because there's a time and a season for everything. There's a time to be born, and there's a time to die. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. For I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. In other words, the Almighty is claiming everything. He's claiming all the deaths, and he's claiming all the life. He's claiming that. In other words, he's letting you know he's the one that killed and make alive. All the wounding that you see, he's the one that said, I wound. But everybody you see healing, he said, I'm the one that healed. He has laid claim on everything. These terrorists ain't doing nothing that claiming I'm responsible for this. Yeah, you might have been an instrument that the Creator was using. But make no mistake about it. You did nothing outside of the hand of Yah. Nothing at all. And you best believe everything you do, everything that's been done will be brought into judgment. Everything. Watch what it says. If I whet my glittering sword and my hand take hold of judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies and will reward them that hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, and that with the blood of the slain and of the captives from the beginning of revenges upon the enemy. Rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants. And we got a lot of our servants, a lot of our people whose blood has been shed, and they were innocent, and will render vengeance to his adversaries, and will be merciful unto his land and to his people. And I love this. And it didn't finish there. Watch this. And Moshe came and spake all the words of the songs in the ears of the people. He and Oshiah, the son of Nun, because that was also Joshua's name. And Moshe made an end of speaking all these words to all of Israel. And he said unto them, watch what it says. Set your hearts unto all the words which I testify among you this day, which ye shall command your children to observe to do, all the words of this law. For it is not a vain thing for you, because it is your life. And through this thing ye shall prolong your days in the land, whether ye go over Jordan to possess it. So this is what we got to know. This is what we got to seek. And this is what we got to do in the latter days. And we got to know that in this thing, it was already purposed, predestined, and foretold. We should know this. Let me show you this so you can see this. This will help you consider things that you may not have considered, because everything begins and ends with the 12 tribes of Israel. Watch what it says. The book of Deuteronomy, the 31st chapter. 28th verse. This is what it says. Gather unto me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears, and call heaven and earth to record against them. For I know that after my death ye will utterly corrupt yourselves, and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you. And we did. Know that we have turned away. Know we have turned aside. Know we have utterly corrupted ourselves. Just accept that thing that we have done, because this is what's going to happen. And watch what it says. For I know after my death ye will utterly corrupt yourselves, and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you, and the evil will befall you in the latter days. And you notice it keep mentioning this latter days. It keep mentioning these last days. Did not we tell you once again, better is the end of a thing than the beginning? Did not we show you that the day of one's death is better than the day of birth? We showed you that. And this is why. Evil will befall you in the latter days, because ye will do evil in the sight of Yah, to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. And Moshe spake in the ears of all the congregation of Israel the words of this song until they were ended. And what is this song about? This song is about the last days. This song is about the evil that is yet to come. This song is about the evil that we have done and will do. And this song is about bringing forth deliverance and salvation to the only people that's scattered to the four corners of the earth, never to return back home until a certain time and a certain season. And that time and that season is at hand. And before the return can take place, let me show you once again what must be done. And watch what it says in the book of Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter. And who are we waiting to return? The 12 tribes of Israel. Who will this evil befall? The 12 tribes of Israel. And who will be saved? The 12 tribes of Israel. Watch what it says. The first verse of Deuteronomy 30. And it shall come to pass, when all these things will come upon thee. What things? Why it keeps talking about some things that's coming upon us. The blessing and the curse, which I said before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all nations. In other words, when will you call them to mind? Well, in a time of trouble. Why would you call them to mind in a time of trouble? Because you will lay it to heart. Why do you think the trouble is coming? For you to lay it to heart, so it can be put on your mind, so that you might bethink yourself and return. Watch what it says. And thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither Yah the Elohim hath driven thee. And thou shalt return unto Yah thy Elohim, and shalt obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day. Not to some of the things, not some of his words, not obey his voice to most of the things he done said, but according to all that he command us this day. Thou and thy children with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that then Yah thy Elohim will turn thy captivity. And don't you want your captivity turned? And have compassion upon thee. And don't you want compassion? And will return and gather thee from all the nations whither Yah thy Elohim have scattered thee. What do you think this whole book is about? Don't you know the beginning is about the 12 tribes of Israel? And the ending is still about the 12 tribes of Israel. That's what this whole book is about. And you must know the ending from the beginning. And what is this ending? This ending is about your redemption. It's about your deliverance. It's about your return. But that only can take place
90 seconds.
if you get your mind and heart in the right place. You must seek Yah. You must seek righteousness. And you must seek humility. And the trumpet,
60
the
seconds.
horn must be blown. About the iniquities and the transgressions that we have wrought in earth. For Yah has a controversy with the inhabitants of the earth and with his people. And he will return. And it will be a whirlwind. And it will be his anger. And it will fall on the head of the
10
wicked.
seconds.
The 12 tribes of Israel. This is who you got to know about. This is what you need to know about. And this is where your eyes should be. And we're not even close to being finished with the 12 tribes of Israel. So until tomorrow, Yah love you. And so do I. Shalom.
To you, my Yadu, I lift up my soul. And trusting you, he always kept me whole. And left my enemies deep in their holes. Let none that wait on Yahweh be ashamed. But shame on those who sin without a cause. Show me your ways, please teach me your laws. Oh Elohim of my salvation, I'm staying down and patient. As a child, all the while I'm waiting. Remember not the sins of my youth. Lead me in your truth, and he'll give your soul ease. The earth shall remain inherited by a seed. The secret of Yahweh who fears Elohim, a fool believes everything. And to every word spoken, you can't take heed unless you hear somebody curse. You know you did the same thing. That's why I'm begging Yah for mercy and His love and kindness, cause I know that I ain't worthy.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.